All right, gentlemen, good evening, good evening, everyone. Please share the link. The link is up. Thank you so much for keeping our rendezvous today. There's so much to talk about. So much to talk about, ladies and gentlemen. Share the streams, share. Get your friends involved. Get your friends involved so we can talk about the AFCON 2023. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the football trio. I am Nico, and I'm presenting today with none other than the best of the best in analytics when it comes to football, Mr. Tru3lion. Say hello to the audience.
Hello, guys. Hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Thank God.
All right, and football encyclopedia in human form, Mr. Ajab. How are you doing today?
Doing just fine, doing just fine. Hi, everyone. Thanks for
All
joining.
right. Hello, everybody who's joining us today. If you're joining us for the first time, please remember to like, subscribe to our channel on YouTube, and follow on Facebook, X, whatever, all the streaming platforms we're on. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's get going. AFCON 2023, Group A and B are done and dusted. Somewhat, because we still have to figure out the best third place teams, right, in the entire tournament. So far, Cape Verde, Group B, Senegal, Group C, qualified straight out of the park. We knew that from game day two. And then today, Equatorial Guinea emerged as Group A winners. Nigeria came up as Group A runner ups. And in Group B, Egypt is joining Cape Verde as the qualified teams. So we now have five teams going into the round of 16. They've confirmed their berth or their place in the round of 16 for the AFCON 2023 in Ivory Coast. And talking about Ivory Coast, the host country is out of the tournament.
No,
Maybe,
they're not out yet.
maybe not. They are. They may be, or maybe not out of
Hmm.
the tournament. So let's talk, gentlemen. Let's talk. Today's a fun day. Football is starting to get interesting now. Now it's win or pack your things and go home, or wait a few more days before you find out if you're still in or not. Right?
Yes.
True Lion, Ajab, any thoughts?
Uh, okay, Guinea shocked me today. Positively shocked me by beating Ivory Coast, like trash,
They
thrashing Ivory
trashed.
Coast by 4 goals to 0. But it's strange because I checked and it's like Owono won the man of the match again. So
Yeah.
you win 4-0 and your keeper is man of the match. So it means that your keeper did an excellent job. Normally we see keepers getting man of the match when they win 1-0, 2-1, or. But you win 4-0 and your keeper is still man of the match. And then hey, Insue, who plays as a winger or left back, I'm sorry, as a winger or right back for his club side, is now the top scorer of the AFCON with 5 goals. So this is an AFCON to remember. Best ever, man. I won't lie to you. 65. Sorry, they've played. It's almost day three is almost done. Match day three
Yeah.
is almost done, and there's still no 0-0 score, no 0-0 tie game yet. And they've scored in every game of the tournament, so that's interesting. Over to you,
Yeah.
True Lion. I don't have much to say
That's
about that.
that's a comment
Yeah,
I'm really excited
Ivory
about.
Coast.
But go
Yeah.
ahead.
yeah.
Go ahead.
Normally, the last days of plays is usually interesting and full with goals. There are gonna be more goals tomorrow because people are looking to qualify. People are looking to grab that third spot, and I think third spot makes it very, very interesting, right? Because even the person that's last maybe and has 1 point or 0 points has an opportunity to qualify. That's why defense, although you might not score many goals, defense is so important. However, Equatorial Guinea, their game today against Ivory Coast, let's forget about the scoreline, right? It just told me something about the mentality of the Ivorians. They are not mentally strong. And even if they make it to the next round, that team, I don't think they have lived up to the expectation because I call that lazy work, right? Because I was hearing a lot of people saying that, even like analysts, big time analysts saying that Ivory Coast is one of the favorites. I mean, where did they get that from? Ivory Coast, if you see, they are actually growing their team just like Cameroon. As I was saying in Pigeon, they know the fit file for market day, right? They wait until the tournament is near and you start see them hiring, getting players from left and right and all that. Then the coach, there's instability because guys like what's his name, Zaha, he was left out because they say cultural wise he doesn't match. But that's a guy with a lot of experience, right? They leave him out because he has some differences, cultural wise, and all that. But again, I just hope they were actually planning for this team for future, because now when you bring a team that is not in sync, and you have teams like Equatorial Guinea that have been planning for quite a while, and now they are now clicking, then you see such results. The small
Can,
teams.
can but True Lion, can we really make this about Ivory Coast not being up to par, or more the brilliance of Equatorial Guinea? Because you have to say it, you cannot discredit their work. Equatorial Guinea put in the shift today. They
No, but
did.
it's both ways, right? I mean, and each game actually reveals something about every squad, right? Okay, like
Mhm.
look at the Ivory Coast game against Nigeria. I was saying that, oh, Nigeria did a very good job, but
Good job.
now
That's
I see the way Equatorial Guinea trashed Ivory Coast. I'm like, oh, wait a minute, Nigeria maybe went with the wrong tactics. Football is
right.
funny until a game plays, then you cannot perfectly evaluate all the teams in that group. Now that I see that an Equatorial Guinea team trashed Ivory Coast 4-0 when Ivory Coast actually needed the result, then I look at Nigeria that won only 1-0 from the penalty spot. I'm like, okay,
And you're wondering, well, I
exactly.
mean, in terms of XG and stats, I'm always going to bring those up. Ivory Coast had a lion's share of this of the possession today. They had more accurate passes. They had larger total number of shots, but Equatorial Guinea was more mercurial with shots on target. And when you look at it, right, and you compare the teams, when we started off, I think when we were previewing the first day, I told you guys Equatorial Guinea has something that is just so different about them. And Iban Salvador Edu, he wears Edu on his shirt, but Iban, that's the pink haired guy who came to Cameroon with pink socks, pink hair. And he just wowed in midfield. And he has done the same thing this time around. Even in this game, I think he was subbed out in the 80th minute or something, and he has literally been the leader from the midfield for this team. And with Nsue, we cannot minimize the impact of that 34-year-old who has 5 goals now in the tournament, right? He is leading the team in a way that you want to see a leader work. Cote d'Ivoire has some really good names on paper. So what was the missing piece? What was the missing piece? What do you think?
Yeah, good. This is like you said, good names on paper. Maybe together the system that they're trying to impose, like the system they're trying to play with having those names. Maybe you have to keep some of those names out when you want to have the game. When you want to have the team to sync. Something I just wanted to mention about Equatorial Guinea. Equatorial Guinea, Cape Verde. That one of those teams that you notice, Cape Verde. You have Cape Verde. You have Equatorial Guinea. You have I forgot a third team that I noticed.
Angola.
Angola.
Angola. Okay,
Yeah.
Angola. Those are teams that they know that they don't have those individual talents, or they don't have those individual talents per se. And then so they decided to be on the transition. You see the way Equatorial Guinea and Cape Verde plays. Three passes from the back line, it's already in the opponent's goal. That's how they
Yep.
do. That's what they call transitional play, because they know they're not good to play the Senegalese or the tiki taka kind of play. So they rely on the transition. That's what is sorry, I'll go. That's what is missing in Cameroon. They're
All right.
slow in transition.
Let's
Yeah.
talk about Equatorial Guinean
You
coach
understand?
Juan Misha or Mika, whatever his name is. Coach of Equatorial Guinea, maybe his second coaching berth or coaching job ever in his career, and he's taken Equatorial Guinea to the second round as top of Group A. No, they are top of Group A in AFCON. Anything to write home
Remember
about him?
you remember in 2015 Equatorial Guinea finished fourth place. They made it to the
To the
yeah,
semis.
they
To the
made it to
semis.
the
At home, yes.
yeah. So I think maybe they've been building up on something, and then now it's finally coming to fruition.
So
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
the Zalang Nationals. You know what Zalang
National.
means?
Yes. What does that mean?
The
I don't know.
National Thunders.
Thunder. Oh,
Yeah.
nice. That's a pretty cool name. All
so
right. So enough of Equatorial Guinea. Enough of Equatorial Guinea. Let's talk about my team. I feel so bad for them.
no, but
Ghana.
there's not much to say about Ghana, because I mentioned it here from the very first day that
Mhm.
Ghana has not been impressive lately. So Ghana doing well this AFCON will be a surprise to me, not something usual, because they've not been doing well lately, especially in
Yeah.
the AFCON. So it wasn't anything new to me, their performance. And They're not in
But I
sync.
mean,
Like I
this is
mentioned,
another
even
team that's
though
so good on paper, though. I mean, you look at
Ghana
Mohamed
is not good
Kudus,
on paper. Ghana is not
Lookman.
good on paper.
They
Ghana is
are.
not
I
good
mean,
on paper. How are
if
they
you
good
if
on
you
paper?
if you put the team and compare the teams they play for, many of them in there, and compare with other teams they've
No,
played
I'm not going to
against.
compare them with Cape Verde and the rest. But Ghana is just on paper. Ghana is not good. They used to be good. They don't have some star players, or unless you want to tell me people like Andrea, you who plays for Crystal Palace and the rest. Crystal Palace are very okay teams. Maybe Mohamed
Mohamed
Kudus, who left
Kudus.
Ajax and plays now for West Ham. He looks like the only actual player that you can think of in the Ghanaian team.
What about
Like
Salisu?
Salisu plays somewhere. He's been in Monaco and
Monaco.
he's never had a game. He used to play for Southampton. He loaned out to Monaco. I don't think he's played any game. But like I said, something too about the AFCON is that before the AFCON used to have 8 teams. Teams were relying on their defense, relying on their defense. You see teams make it to the round of to the semifinals with 3 points or 2 points,
Mhm.
and then it moved to 16 teams. Teams go to the quarterfinals. Now, if you don't score goals, you're not going to the next stage of the competition. That's how it is now. Yeah, if you don't score goals, Egypt ended with 3 points, but they scored 6 goals. Can you imagine?
That's
Two
right.
goals
And goals
every game.
we've had a lot of
Two
goals.
goals
There's been
every
no
game,
zero
but
zero
they ended with
draws.
3 points. So you
Yeah.
need to grind results. You need to score. That thing to sit back. Nigeria is lucky that they even finished with 7 points with just 3 goals. But yeah, it happens. But they've missed a lot of chances. That's a problem too with Nigeria. Yeah. So
Okay. So I mean, Group A. Let's talk Group A. We have Equatorial Guinea and Nigeria, first and second respectively. Ivory
mhm,
Coast still a question mark on whether they will make it through to round of 16.
yeah,
But it's been a really tough day for Ivorians today. The Let me not call it a rivalry, but a sibling love between Ivorians and Cameroonian fans manifested all over social media. With especially because Cameroon lost to Senegal, and Ivorian fans took a lot of pleasure took pleasure in ridiculing
yeah.
and riding that wave and on behalf of Senegal. And now Cameroonians are on top. Everywhere on social media, there are memes and everything. So,
All Ivory,
question.
all
Yes,
Ivory
go ahead.
Coast needs, all Ivory Coast needs now is just one third place team with 2 points, and then they make it. So they are hoping now that Cameroon ties with Gambia,
So
and then
Cameroonians are
Nigeria
with
ties with Mauritania or something. No, not
Mauritania,
Nigeria. I think Tunisia or something, and then
Tunisia,
they're
yeah,
good to go. So,
and they'll
but
be through.
yeah, yeah.
So a lot of rancor in Ivory Coast right now. There's actually I saw some videos of vandalism, fans in the streets destroying buses for AFCON. I'm not too sure how that situation is right now, but when the game ended, that's kind of what the images that popped up on social media. I'm just fan. Our thoughts are with any fans from any African countries that are there. Hope you are safe. Stay safe. Maybe not go out tonight. It's not going to be the best for you. But there was a conversation about Ivory Coast getting fined because of how they were reacting towards the end of the game. Any should we make any mustard out of that, or is that just something we can just let go?
Just let go. There's nothing we can do. Yeah, let's
Okay.
let go.
Guinea-Bissau, 3 games, zero, 0 points. They have a bunch of zeros next to them. 0 wins, 0 draws, 3 losses. Did they even score a goal? I'm not too sure.
They scored two against
They scored
Equatorial Guinea.
against Equatorial Guinea. All right.
Yeah.
So, what to make of them? Lessons learned for them. Young team come back next year, next tournament, and
Let
hopefully
them
they'll do
build up
better.
from
Well,
the experience.
yeah, it's
Build
a
up.
team that I never expected much from, but at least they got the experience, and who knows what happens.
Yeah, we all knew they were not going to do well. All right. So let's talk Cape Verde. How far do you see them going?
Well, this is
Semifinals,
they
finals.
just I love the way they played today, although they drew against Egypt. I mean, they
Egypt,
were
yeah,
already qualified, but they came out and played. You
That's what
know,
I was saying. That's the difference between Cape
that's
Verde. Cape Verde came in as group leaders already, you
yeah.
know, but they played like they needed a win to qualify.
Yeah, and their coach is a former Cape Verdean, and he coached in their league.
hmm
This is his. I think he's been with them since 2000. Yeah, so
all
this is
right.
his fourth year. He's been there before as assistant coach. So all these teams that you see are having success. You can see how they gradually build up a system. And yes, they are using a lot of. They have a lot of players from the Portuguese and all
From
that,
different leagues.
and they also close to Senegal. So there's that culture of good football, and you saw how confident they were on the ball, technical, astray. They knew what they were doing. A team that is well in sync. So
Man,
sometimes I don't buy that notion of, because a lot of these, especially Ivory Coast and Cameroon, they have the notion of where if you don't play in a big team, it means if you don't have players in that play in big leagues or big, then you are
Then
doomed.
you're not. Yeah.
Then you are doomed. No, that's why sometimes I don't want to hear people say that Cameroon has no talent, because they are one of our best teams ever were made out of local players. So if you work your local league very well, guess what? Something good is gonna come out from there, because there's talent in Cameroon. It's just the politics of football, or how the team is being built, is
Yeah.
bad. That's just
I
it.
mean, over the years, people talk about these things, and I don't want us to go into Cameroon just yet. Let's just table that subject for just a minute. Let's talk Egypt, then we'll go into Cameroon because that's the game for tomorrow. We'll preview the games for tomorrow. But that's a very good point you make, True Lion. Not to minimize that point. That's a very, very good point. You have to build towards something, and you have to have a target. You have to have timelines. You have to make sure that there's progress. Anybody who's ever been on a project knows that. So you can't just throw the words around and not actually implement anything. But Egypt, what's to make of it? Egypt came in, everybody was expecting some fireworks, but they've had just
no,
three straight draws and they're through to the second round.
people didn't talk a lot about Egypt, but I think their performance has been below par. But the
Mm.
fact that they're making it to the round of 16, I think they're gonna build up something from there, because I think I watched them play against Cape Verde today. They had a really good game. Trust me, Egypt played well against Cape Verde. Yeah, I
They
know.
had, sorry for interrupting. They had about 27 shots and seven on target.
Yeah,
Yep.
I mean,
no,
that tells you they were really trying to win
no,
the
they
game.
played well. Egypt played well today, and then Cape Verde. Woo, the back line is so organized, man. Those
Yes.
guys, they're like from they like they ooh, Cape
You
Verde,
know,
man.
most of these guys who played today for Cape Verde were starting the game, were playing for the first time in this tournament. A few of
Those,
them.
yeah, those guys played so well. I said they played like they needed a win. You don't
Tavares.
even know if oh man. But Egypt, like I say, yeah, Egypt, the performance, I think it all started from the Mozambique game. I think the Mozambique
Yes.
performance got into some of their heads. They haven't recovered from it yet. But Ghana, I think the second goal against Ghana and the second goal today, I think I'm gonna blame the keeper for it, man. Trust me.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that should have been a straight 5.5 kick. He touches it, it goes to a corner, and
yeah,
that's it for them. It's kind
yeah.
of ridiculous, but
But
some of
now,
Yeah.
the
And
things that happen. So
and then
let's preview Cameroon. Yeah, go ahead, True
yeah,
Lion,
and then
before
yeah,
we.
something about Egypt I want to point out to people.
Hmm.
3/4 of their team are local players.
yeah, yeah.
Yes. So
Yes,
3/4 of the Egyptian team
No, yeah,
actually local players.
more than three quarters.
Yeah,
Yeah.
more than three quarters. I
Mm-hmm.
know there's Arsenal, Liverpool, and maybe some. So it's more than three quarters. So that goes back to my point where I say if you have a well organized local league, or you do like Senegal, who is going like they have a good youth from a
youth
youth or
program.
under 23
Yeah.
system right up to the national team. So that's how these teams are actually able to build up very productive teams.
Okay, that's good. What's to make of a team that's tough to beat in the group stage and the second round? If they're tough to beat, they can just get through and make it all the way to the finals and
Yeah,
actually take the cup
yeah,
home.
the
Right?
knockout stage. All I have to say, the knockout stage is a completely different game. Cape Verde
Different
could go
game.
and meet a
Yep.
team, and then they hit one goal on the counter, and then go sit back, and
And
it's the
that's
end of
it.
story for them. So
Yep.
they don't
Or
have to
they.
be confident. They just have to keep the same spirit. That's why I was so impressed with the way they played today. Like True said, they came all out like they needed a win to qualify when they
Mhm.
had qualified already. So that's why I was so impressed with them. So they should keep up that momentum. They shouldn't be so confident now. They finished in the group where Egypt was, Ghana was. They finished first. Let's go play our Nyanga football. No, let them keep on playing their composed and football, building up from the back and all that.
That's
So
right.
yeah, you can talk
So
about the continent now if you want to.
let's jump into the continent, like you said. Cameroon versus Gambia tomorrow. Do we witness a Ghana situation again, or one where Cameroon actually comes out and plays some football, looking to win, so they can confirm their place in the second round?
I predicted Cameroon to tie with Gambia, but I think Cameroon is going to win. And one thing I think is going to happen tomorrow, it's that Rigobertson, I'm thinking he's going to switch. I'm thinking
Okay.
he's going to switch to a 4-4-2. I'm going to. We're probably going to see a Cameroon playing with two people up front. If not two people up front, they're going to have actually maybe Elliott start in front of two midfielders. That's how I'm going to see. And then I'm
Okay.
thinking they're going to be very offensive. I'm thinking uh, Darlin Yongwa is going to start back in the left back. Cameroon is going to go all out tomorrow. But all out not in the sense that they're going to play some, going to be some creative. All out in the sense that they will be loading those balls in the 18-meter box for someone to head. That's how I look at them being offensive. Not that there's going to be some creativity, but they know that it's a do or die game for them to make it to the round of 16. All they need is just a win, even 1-0. That's all they need. They don't care. Nothing happen. They don't care about even if Guinea beats Senegal 12-0. All Cameroon needs is just a win to make it as third place. But if they want to make it as second place, they need to score lots of goals and hope
And
Senegal
expect
beat
that
that,
Senegal beats
Guinea. But if
Guinea.
they're just looking to qualify as a third place, they just need a win. 1-0 is fine, 2-1 is fine. They don't need to score 12 goals. So, but Gambia too is going to come. Gambia could come out like Mozambique, or come out like any other team, or come out. Yeah. So even Guinea-Bissau gave Nigeria a run for their money. Oh yeah, they gave Nigeria a run. Nigeria had scoring chances, but Guinea-Bissau also had a good game against Nigeria. So Cameroon should watch out. It's not going to be. I know they're going to be so physical and dropping all the balls inside to score because now it's like 9 minute cover. We just want to win. We don't want to play good. So that's probably what's going to
So
happen to Cameroon. So I see Cameroon playing 4-2 4-4-2.
4-4-2.
Yeah, two wingers, two up front strikers, which probably will be Magri and Mubanyang or Mubanya. I always forget how to pronounce him. Or if not, if Magri is the one starting or Mubanyang the one starting, you have Elliot right behind him. But I think they're going to go for a more attacking lineup. It's not going to be three in the midfield tomorrow. That I
Do you
can I
think
can I
Song
can
Song will
I can
actually
put money
trust
on that.
this?
They're
Okay.
not going to have those those triplets in the midfield tomorrow. They're going to get one of them out and bring in
Okay.
someone who is a little bit more creative. If they're not bringing a creative midfielder, they bring in a striker. That's how I look at it tomorrow.
Okay. So
Yep.
the last time Cameroon won a game, they started with Mobanya in the central forward as a center forward. Buemo, of course, was on the right. That's when we beat Mauritius in November last year, 2023.
Yeah, the 3-0
It's been
score.
like what, 6 games, 5 games since, and we've not won a
The,
game.
the 3-0 score.
Yes, 3-0
And
versus Mauritius.
yeah, and
And
in
if you
that
look
game,
at Cam,
Mauritius
yes,
Mauritius
in
made a
Douala.
lot. In that game,
Yeah, it was in Douala.
Mauritius made a lot of defensive errors, and
That's how
that's
we
why
got the
they
goals.
scored. I want just to
Yeah,
point to your attention that Gambia also can qualify. If they beat Cameroon 2-0,
they
they
can
will
make
be
it through.
in better place than Ivory Coast. So yes, they will come out to play and to qualify.
And
So
that's
they
what the coach said. The coach said that them losing against Cameroon is normal. But Cameroon losing against them is not. It's going to be a shame to Cameroon. So they'll be coming to play their game. They're not. Yeah. So them losing against Cameroon is very normal. But them beating Cameroon is going to be a shame on Cameroon. So they're going to play their game.
They're going to
That's
play
it.
without any stress, without any pressure, and that's when a
yeah
team is very dangerous. Cameroon has played Gambia 3 times on record already. If you look at head to head, 2015, Cameroon won 1-0. It was the African Cup of Nations qualifiers. Um, 2016, Cameroon won 2-0. Same thing, African Cup of Nations qualifier. And in 2022, in Yaoundé, I think, Cameroon beat them 2-0.
I
Um,
think I think what
so
makes
what I mean, all in Douala, sorry, all the signs point to a victory for Cameroon. But can we be certain that Cameroon comes away with the goods?
It's not
no.
certain.
No, it's not for sure. The way we have seen little teams actually beat the so-called big teams, this African Cup of Nations. So everyone is gathering momentum, and anyone can still qualify in at the end of the third day of play. But what I think Cameroon should do, you should change certain things because if I see when the lineup comes out tomorrow and I see the same lineups that either started the first or second game, then I
That's right.
know I know it will be done because in order for Cameroon to qualify, maybe they need to put an Angisa to play
Okay.
up high, just behind the strikers. Maybe the 4-1-1 or I mean 4-4-2 or a 4-4-1-1. Because that 4-3-3, the way I look at it, it seems as if the players are not either they are not
Uh,
comfortable with it and we don't have the players to play, because when you play a 4-3-3 formation, you guys on the wing have to be excellent ball handlers, excellent ball
Yes.
creators. They have to be agile, they have to be fast, and we don't have that profile of players. So why don't change it maybe to a 4-4-2, where we have like more men in the midfield, then where you can play maybe a certain Angisa up front and give him less defensive duties, because as far as being creative, he's the most creative player that with
There we have
experience
right
in
now.
that
Yeah,
midfield.
experience.
Although as a guy like Eloy is more of an attacking midfielder, but he doesn't have that experience. So maybe we see a different role for Angisa tomorrow, which will be more offensive and less defensive.
Do you think trusting Angisa is the right way to go for Coach Song? Given that he hasn't delivered or led the team, I would use that word quote unquote led, because from my perspective, I don't think has done much to warrant to even deserve the captain's armband. But I know that he's the most experienced on paper in the team, and sometimes it pays to trust the experienced players in games like these, but I just think for a change, the coach could throw in a wrench to kind of send a message, right? Like if you don't do the job, you don't get a spot in the team. Would that help at all? Would you? I mean, let
Let me
this
start. Let
in
me
answering this question, maybe segue into what you think your first 11 will be, or the three midfielders or the four midfielders, since you
No, but
said you want.
let me ask you this: what are your choices? Without Aginsa, what are your choices of the what?
Well,
Who you
that's
gonna
true.
play? You know, I
That's
mean, it's not the problem is not Anguissa. For me, the problem is like the whole team is not playing on well. And when if one or two players are not playing well, then I'll say yeah. But when the whole team is not playing well, it's the coach. There's no other way to look at it. The whole team, even those coming from the bench, no one is playing well, is the coach. Look at Egypt. In one game, they had 27 shots. They had 7 shots on target. How does that happen? Are you telling me that it's because they have more talented players? No, it's because they are playing as a team. They are using more than three-quarters of their players are local players. So when you come in a tournament like this, when you don't prepare, or where you try to, because half of the players that were at the World Cup did not make it in this list, right?
Mhm.
So we have to decide either Song is not communicating well, because remember, it's after the two defeats he starts saying that we are a
Building a team.
transition team. No, you should say that before. Prepare the minds of the fans. You tell them that before we are coming to this African Nations Cup as a team in transition, so that we should be prepared. You don't wait after two defeats and start saying that you're a team in transition. Why did you call more than 14 players? 14 players are new. 14 players that he called are new to the team. Where are you
Well,
going to get chemistry from? Yeah.
the the I think one thing we can take home, and I just want to highlight a comment here from JC before we
Mhm.
continue. All the signs and history are in favor of Cameroon, but with Song as coach, it is an advantage for Gambia. JC never fails. All right. Angisa and Kemen should not play tomorrow. If you ask me, Song no be man for bench Angisa. Look at Mali. Keita is often on the bench. Aurier, the most experienced player for Cote d'Ivoire, has only started once. And that's exactly the point I was trying to make. Because we've trusted Angisa. The coach has trusted Angisa twice already. He hasn't delivered. I would say even if the options aren't as glaring, right? If there's no better options, why not sit him? Try someone else. I mean, you can't go wrong with trying, because at this point, win or lose, Cameroon could still be out, you know, right? We could do all the work and Cameroon could do all the work and Guinea turns Senegal inside out, and that just makes for a different storyline for Cameroon after the game, right? I mean, we're all talking as if it's a foregone conclusion that Guinea is just going to turn over and let Senegal run them riot.
No, no one is saying Guinea is going to turn over, but let's actually just speak on the Angisa issue. The reason why most of you guys are saying Angisa is a problem is because he's the most experienced player in there. He's the most uh, I want to say he's one of our best players.
Yeah, right now
So
he
a lot
is.
of you guys expect him to do like as I say in football, one hand no the tie bundle. So you
But on
cannot.
Easy is the head that wears the crown. On
No,
Easy
but
is the head that wears the crown.
what
We're gonna make sure that
what
he
ground are you talking about? There's no leadership. Let's face facts.
that,
Let's
that's
face
where
facts.
and that's where we need him to step in as a leader. No,
Step in as what? He's not the creative. He's not playing in a position where he can be creative enough. You are playing as one person. Okay, you just spoke about Mali. Mali is one
hmm
of the best teams in this tournament. Keita is on the bench. Guess who? The Koulibalis. There are two Koulibalis in that midfield. Those are very good players. Have you seen them play? Have you seen them? Name me one player that has played more than Angisa. Kemen, what's his name? Ncham. Can those guys
Nehu,
play?
Cham, Chamadu, whatever. But I mean, the point still remains though. True Lion. We have to be honest about this. When we look at it, right? The Anguissa that dresses up in the blue, sky blue of Napoli is not the same Anguissa that appears in the green, red, yellow for
Eto'o
Cameroon.
was not
Because
the same player for Barcelona with Cameroon. What did Eto'o win
no,
Cameroon
but
when he
Eto
was with
still
Barcelona?
led his team.
No,
Eto
he
was
was
still
not.
there, scoring
No,
goals.
he was not the same player. After the Mboma left, he never won anything with Cameroon. What did he win?
No, but even when okay, so let's step
2006,
back.
Cameroon missed the World Cup. Eto'o was in the team.
Eto was in
Barcelona
the
won.
team. That's right.
Yes, Barcelona won the Champions League. Eto'o was in that team.
That year. Yeah.
He
Yeah,
was
yeah,
on the
yeah.
field when we lost, and he was crying. So what are you talking about?
I remember that. But I mean, but still, there's a lot that's expected of players like that, right? Like you could see it today in Ghana. You could see it today. Mohamed Kudus asking for the ball, demanding. Even Ayu was asking for the ball, demanding, making those passes, making those runs. That's what you want to see from a leader,
But they were not on the
not
bench.
someone walking back when we're trying to defend a ball that's on a
They,
counter.
they were not on the bench. I see you walking back. Still, they were not on the bench. They started the game. So you don't expect our best player, only hope to sit on the bench. For who?
All right. Well, you do have a point. Yes. The results is what we really want, right? We just want to win and hope that the math works out for Cameroon so that Cameroon can go through
I
to the
might,
second round.
I might disappoint you.
Go for it.
Although I believe Cameroon will win,
hmm
but it might not be good for us.
That's exactly my feeling. That's exactly my feeling because I don't see Senegal coming to a game that they really don't have to win anything out of. They really don't have anything to gain out of it and risking their best players, the Lamin Camaras, and to come out and take a run when someone can get injured and miss out on a round of 16 game or something like that.
No,
I
I
think they
believe.
will field a second string team and then
But
just hope that they don't get embarrassed.
let me tell you something. Senegal, have you seen their bench?
It's also just as good. That's true.
Okay.
So that makes it even harder and tougher for but let's assume for argument's sake that Cameroon delivers the goods or does the job it's supposed to do against Gambia, and Senegal hopefully does what it's supposed to do against Guinea. Do you see the team going further than the next round of 16? Do you think Cameroon meeting, say, Equatorial Guinea? Because if Cameroon were to qualify, I think second, they would meet Equatorial Guinea. But if they were to come out first of the group, say Senegal was to lose by a certain number of goals and Cameroon ends up being first of the group, is that it?
No,
Then
it's
would we
not
meet
possible. It's not possible.
Nigeria?
Third. If they come out second,
If
they
we come
finish.
out second, yeah, we meet Equatorial. If we come out second, we meet Equatorial Guinea. If we come out third, we meet Nigeria. That's what it is.
I think if we come out third, we meet Equatorial Guinea because the first team plays the weakest team, and if
Okay,
we
let me
come out,
just quickly pull up
yeah, no, the first team plays the weakest team.
the weakest team. That's right.
Yes. Then the second team plays the second team
I'm trying
plays.
to figure that out. Sorry, hold on. Let me just quickly take a look. Yeah, if Cameroon is second, we meet Nigeria.
Yes,
But if Cameroon
third,
finishes third, Cameroon meets Equatorial Guinea.
exactly.
That's right. Should be should be
No,
interesting.
but I don't want to jump ahead of time, right? The
hmm
game is against Gambia because anything can happen in knockout stage. The game is the game Gambia. So I don't want to be thinking if Cameroon finish. No, the game is against Gambia. That's what my
Okay.
focus is on.
All right. Let's jump into predicted lineups then. You said 4-4-1-1. How would you start the team?
I'll
Who
start
would
with
you have in
Chateau.
your team? Who would you have, you know?
I'll start with basically I'll start the same lineup that started last Bedford Kemen. I will
Okay.
start Kemen and
Who starts in Kemen's place?
I will start Kemen, right? And what I will also do is that I will bring it Faris. So I'll play with two strikers.
Oh, okay.
So what that means is that the wingers that we have will now drop into the midfield.
Hmm.
So it could be Ngamalo. I'm not sure if I start Ngamalo. I might start a guy like Toko Ekambi, and then I start Nkudu. So they are attacking midfielders. So they will be like attacking midfielders.
Okay, so the lineup Cameroon versus Senegal was Onana in goal, Tolo, Nuhu Tolo, Costeleto,
So
Wu, and
Yongwa will come
and
in. I will
Jato.
start Tolo. Yongwa will come in.
Yeah, Yongwa comes in for him,
Yes.
and then you have Kemen, who is out in favor of,
Kemen
just to
goes
be
out.
remembered,
Ncham.
Cham. Okay, so Cham starts in place of Kemen. So you start Nuhu, Nupa, Nuhu,
No, no,
Nuyu.
no, no. I will start. So it means I'm dropping two midfielders, right? Because if
Yes,
I'm playing in the four, yeah, I'm dropping two midfielders. So basically, I might just drop out
Nuyu, the
Kemen
Nupa
and
guy.
then yes,
Yeah, Neu. Yeah, that's I always have a trouble with his name. Nuhu, Nuhu. Okay, Neu. Okay, and Gamale starts up front, Magri and Kudu.
yeah.
Same, right?
That would be thinking about it. That would be very imbalanced because I want to play two central
Central
midfielders. I don't
midfielders.
want to play because I cannot play. I want what's his name? I want Angisa to have some more of an offensive role.
Okay, so he will be
So
on
I'll
the
play Neu. Let me say I'll play. I cannot play Chama. I'll play Neu and Angisa.
and Angisa. Okay.
Yeah.
That's kind of what happened last game though. But yeah, so we all agree. If I were to put my lineup now, I would take Kemen out. I would have Tolo, and I would still have Yongwa in front of him. Um,
Yeah. The
and
reason No, the reason I will not put Tolo and Youngwa in front of him is just because Youngwa is not a goal scorer, right? So we
Mhm.
need goal scorers. We need people that can play in the midfield and are more offensive
And
because I don't expect
offensive.
Gambia to attack us that much. They're not more of an attacking team.
Well,
But
they do more
the reason I'll bring
attacking.
Tolo, the reason I'll bring Tolo is because he has a reason of scoring. Now that he's sat for the second game, he's fresh. I mean, Toko Ekambi, he's
Okay,
fresh.
can be.
He's ready to come and lead that.
So you would have Magri and Toko Ekambi up front. Great.
Yeah, I can have that. Or I can still play in the 4-3-3 and have those guys, Toko on the right, Magri in the middle,
Magri in the
and then
middle and
we,
Kudu
we
on the
can
left.
shift we can shift what's his name, Kudu to the
Kudu.
right. Then
Okay.
we have Angisa and did I say Neu? Neu
Name.
plays the
Yeah.
six. Angisa plays a little bit offensive. Then the other midfielder who
Sure.
might can be in Cham. Cham will be
Mhm.
more defensive, but will give
Okay.
Angisa the freedom to move forward.
That's good.
Yeah,
That's a
because
good enough
Anguissa can
lineup.
score. If you watch Cameroon Cote d'Ivoire qualifiers, Anguissa scored was the one in World Cup. He scored that
Yeah.
goal. So if he plays more offensive with left defensive requirements, he can score. He will make those runs into the box.
All right. Let's take a quick look at our Facebook page. Unfortunately, we can't pull it up on the screen because of the way the stream is designed. Unfortunately, the streaming platform. But there's some comments here on Facebook from Tres
I,
Cator. Yemen is trash. There's another point from Del Rey Paul Del Rey. He says he has the strongest against the weakest. Um, and oh, I may have missed the point that Eno said. Maybe remind me in the comments. And then I think that's it. So those are all the comments I have so far. But on the YouTube side, um,
I think
J-
Clement Amukala said something about Anguissa. He said
Oh, I think
Anguissa is Clement and yeah, in between the
I need to
JC.
refresh maybe. Yeah, let me refresh. All right. It's a little strange that I can't see the comments.
The one he says Anguissa is a good player, but he lacks leadership.
Leadership. Yeah, and that's exactly what I was trying to say. He doesn't have leadership in him. That's why I would bench him for this game and
No,
maybe
but
bring him
leadership.
up.
A player
But
who doesn't have leadership doesn't mean that you bench
it
him.
doesn't make a difference for you.
No, 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 no. But the problem is that
Hmm.
when you manage players, right,
Hmm.
you have to be specific. The reason I say you have to be specific is that I'll ask you this question: has Anguissa played in his best position? Answer that question.
No, he hasn't. I mean, the
Okay.
tournament. He hasn't throughout the
So
tournament.
because when you coach a team, right, you know the
Mhm.
profile and qualities of your players, and what you're trying to do is put them in the best position to give their best performance. When you don't do that, it means you are not doing your job. And the reason I say that is because if you watch Anguissa play, he's dominant. Even at Napoli, he
Hmm.
has that body language where everybody will criticize him. Most of the time, people criticize him. He walks, blah blah blah. But that's his dominant. I listened to Claude Leroy. Claude Leroy said, because I asked him a specific question about Anguissa, he said if he were the coach, he would put Anguissa just behind the strikers. And that's where my mind clicked. I never knew that. Remember, we're on here and all that. We're criticizing. We say I was saying Amgiza is not a playmaker, but this is now a coach because I like listening to Claude Leroy. He said they asked him about Anguissa because I was looking for answers, and he said give Anguissa more offensive roles, duties, and see what he's gonna do because he said he's the most talented player in that team, and that's a coach that I respect.
So things get a little murky when you have to. We are in a tournament, and you have to start doing some of these trials, right? It would have been fun to see this happen in some of the friendly games that they had when they were in was it in Qatar or Saudi Arabia, wherever they were before for pre tournament camp. But we haven't seen that. And based on your comments yesterday about the coach, right, Rigobert Song, do you think this is something he has in his locker? I mean, that he can really like pull this card tomorrow and have Angisa in that role?
No, but the problem is that we have all the data, right?
Hmm.
We have press conferences, we have friendly games, but when it comes to friendly games, the coach tells you that he was not brought there to win friendly games.
He's there
He's
to
making
yep.
excuses.
Hmm.
We have press conferences where they ask him about his player selections and he cannot articulate the player selection because a team, when you carry a team to a tournament, right? The selection of players, the players you pick, when we analyze that 27 man that you pick, we're trying to see what's on your mind, how you're thinking, and stuff like that. Remember, Rigobert Song made a statement after winning one game in World Cup qualifier, and then he had some friendly games. They asked him about Choupo-Moting. You know what he said? He said
What's
nous
that?
sommes dans la continuité. He said vous-même les journalistes, vous avez dit que that you the journalists,
Yeah,
you
you're
said
ready.
we
You want
looked
to change?
we looked excited at the wings, and that's how we are trying to play. So his whole thing, he explained that they're gonna attack from the wings. Everybody has prepared now to play against Cameroon, attacking from the wings. Secondly, he doesn't even have the players because come the first game, we saw him put Fario, who's never played on the wings. So he's kind
Yeah.
of confused. So he's sending us mixed messages. So a coach who is not prepared for battle will fail, and
But
then
does
the
he give
player will
you
struggle.
does he give you the vibe that he can try things out? I mean, we saw him try Costello on the right, right side of defense. It didn't work. We saw him bring in Tolu in the left on the second game. We've seen him move things around. No.
But it's like moving things around when you don't know what you're trying to achieve. I mean, he's doing that
Okay.
blindly. It's like he's doing that blindly because let me tell you this: Song has been coached for 2 years. There's no
Agreed.
pattern. There's no style of play. Do you think it's gonna happen today? We're talking about the Cape Verdes. We're talking about Angola. We're talking about this other team who actually took time to build their own type of football that they want to play. And we see what they are painting, the images they are painting. It's beautiful, right?
That's right.
Ain't that beautiful? I mean, we're talking
I
about
mean,
this.
we all admire it. We've all talked about it. We admire it. It's fun to watch. It's pleasing to the eyes. It's easy. It makes for easy watching, and really, you savor African football and enjoy it. I remember, having a conversation with someone who said, and we talked at length at how beautiful African football is, and the fact that this AFCON is going to just elevate it even more, right? Because we have so many broadcasters in this AFCON. I think this is the most accessible AFCON tournament we've had since CAF, since the existence of CAF, right? So many TV, major broadcasts, how media houses are carrying the games live. They're not doing the 90 and 30 thing that being sport used to do 2 3 tournaments ago. Images are available to you 24/7. You can watch streams on the internet, things like that. This just helps to elevate the level of competition that we have, and of course we expect these teams to bring it, and that's why teams like Cape Verde, um, um, Equatorial Guinea, excuse me, and others have actually impressed so much, right? Because they've not
So
only
let
put in
me,
the work, they know that they are here for the occasion, and they actually showed up to compete.
so let me ask you a question, right?
Mhm.
Okay, when you look at the models, right? How these teams, some of the teams, you can talk about maybe any team that maybe
Mhm.
you know. Why are they succeeding? I'm talking about, just think about the top teams. I just pick maybe some of the top teams. You can pick any group. Look at their
Uh,
model and ask yourself, why are they succeeding?
I think it's pretty clear, really. I like that. The question is probably rhetorical, but yeah, I think it's pretty clear. A team like Senegal, it's not just it didn't just happen. It's a process. It's a process, right?
Okay, but
Have
what's
we
the
had a
model?
process in Cameroon though? Have we had a process in Cameroon?
No, what's the model of Senegal? Forget about Cameroon. What's the model of Senegal?
Well, from the youth level, you can see there's integration and they build from it. Because like this team, this Senegal team now used to dominate the youth level a
And
couple of
do
years
you know
back.
they won all categories of the youth in the
That's right.
African.
Last
Okay,
year, yeah.
so
Or
that's their model, right?
hmm
Because as you can see, Senegal doesn't have a competitive league yet. Like local league, they don't have
That's
a
right.
competitive league yet. Okay, let me take what's the model of a team like Nigeria?
Same thing. But
No,
But
Nigeria doesn't
Nigeria
have
has,
one.
no, well, not really the same thing. But Nigeria has actually done some work calling back their players who could actually play for various teams, right?
No, but
But
I
they
think
also have
Nigeria.
a youth. They also have a
No,
youth system.
yeah, I think Nigeria is as confused as Cameroon.
Nah, I think they've actually done a bit better. They've actually done a lot better than Cameroon in terms of, first of all, their league is very popular, right? You can actually follow their league online and see scores and things like that and follow. But they've actually put in money and developed their local league. But they've done a very good job at trying to attract some of these players who could play for England and all these other teams, Germany and all that, to come back home and actually take up residency, if
I
that's
think
the word, you
Yeah, I
know.
think some guys actually agree with me on Facebook. They say Nigeria depends solely on foreign players, and that's what I'm trying
Yeah,
to tell you. That
yeah,
Nigeria, their league is, I mean, they are as confused as Cameroon, right? But
mm,
they might be lucky this time around that the team is actually maybe playing some good football, because well, they are not playing some good football yet. They are not convincing to me yet, but
yeah.
they might just be lucky. Okay, what's the model of a team like Cape Verde?
I mean, everything is local based. They build from, even from their jersey sponsor. You can tell the person who makes their jersey, it's a local company in Cape Verde. Everything is about their country,
I
right?
think, yeah, I think Cape Verde, they have that grit
Yeah.
of Cameroon in 1984, where
There you go.
but then Cameroon was successful, like club level, Canon Tourneur, then Orix, then
There
they
you go.
finally believed, and in '84 you saw Cameroon now come into, and that's Cape Verde for me, because they they also have good talent like that's coming from the Portuguese, because a lot of those guys They actually go in Portugal. It's a small island, they all that, but they
Yeah, six
actually
hundred
well,
thousand people.
yeah,
They have less than a million people, right? So
exactly. So, and theirs is almost like Equatorial Guinea, right? So everybody has a model. Now you can talk about Cameroon's model. What's Cameroon's model?
you do all of these gymnastics just to come back to that point you want to make about Eto and so.
I like to bring a guy like, because although
Ah,
this guy,
the analyst, the analyst.
Tres 14, right? You know Tres 14, right?
Yeah, I know.
I would like you to have this topic with him about Cameroon's model. I
Go
know
ahead and
he's
say it.
working.
Actually, we should get Tres to join us now if he can. Tres, do you want to join the stream? Let's just have this conversation. I know you have a lot to say.
Yeah, because we had a conversation. We've been having a conversations on this
Hmm.
and talking about the various models and how Cameroon football. Now, Cameroon's model, if I can maybe throw some light on it, it's just like Nigeria. It's just like Ivory Coast, where they actually wait until there's a big tournament, and then you
Hmm.
start seeing people trying to put things together. However, I must say this: long term, short term goals. Samuel Eto'o is doing good on the long term
Long
goals.
term. That's
But
right.
this is where it's very tricky, because if you see Ivory Coast, they have 24 training
Facilities.
centers for this
Hmm.
African Cup of Nations. Guess what? Almost more than half are for lycées, high school. You see those beautiful training stations you see?
Yeah.
It's stadiums. They are owned
That
by
tells you in 5 years the team will be unbeatable.
exactly.
Isn't that what
Well,
some
maybe not
influenced
unbeatable, but
Cameroon?
they're going somewhere.
Yeah.
They're going somewhere, right? Because
Hmm.
Morocco, Egypt, they already have those type of facilities. And that's why when Cameroon was organizing the World Cup, I was almost in tears. I'm like, I mean, the
Nations Cup, not World
Nations
Cup.
Cup. I was
Yeah.
like, almost in. I was like, why do we need to build stadiums we will not use? Why don't we build little stadia
Facilities that are
across the
accessible.
nation
Yeah.
where it's going to help up the development? However, let's say Ito is trying to develop that. I don't know how successful it's going to be, but for long-term goal, Ito is doing good. For short-term goal, that's where Ito actually has failed, because most Cameroonians are trying to copy Senegal, but they fail to understand what you just mentioned about Senegal, that they have a team that is successful at all categories, like from the juniors and all that, so it's successful. And then
Hmm.
Cisse was a coach, for about two levels down before coming to the national
Before
team,
coming up,
and he
that's
had a
right.
winning record, right? So Eto'o has actually selected someone that does not merit in Rigobert's song, that cannot coach because he's a manager, that doesn't even know how to set up training sessions. Yes, that's true. I can give you information and a lot I'm spoken about it. Yeah, I'm not
True
laughing.
Lion, you
That's
revel
true.
when it comes to this subject. You love it. You just love it. And I'm sorry, guys, if you're joining us for the first time, you've probably and you may have not watched other videos. We had a conversation a couple of days ago where we tried to explore, some of the merits of song, and I got an earful from my friend True Lion here, where basically this is and it's true actually. I'm not saying this just to play devil's advocate for the sake of playing devil's advocate. It's true. Cameroon hasn't invested where they were supposed to invest, and they are trying to get results where they cannot get results because they've not done the work that would yield those results. And unfortunately, we find ourselves in these situations where we have these conversations over and over, and the cycle comes to an end, and then there'll be a new person at Feka Food who will come in with their own program, and things start changing again, right? How much time can we really give this team? How much time can you really give Song and by extension Eto to make this work? True Lion,
How much time to make what, the short term or the
to
long term
really
goal?
make it, yes, to get us right.
Which one? Which one? Short term or long
The
term?
short term, because we all agree the long term goals are set, right? We all agree that the long run,
It will
Cameroon
take a
is
while. Yeah,
trying to do something positive.
yeah.
But how do we fix the short term? Sorry.
The short term. Well, since we're in the African Nations Cup, I started having a conversation with, I mean, guys around my age or maybe stuff like that. I was asking, have they ever witnessed? a team in transition with Cameroon because I remember Claude Leroy
Hmm.
has taken a transition team before. He had I've forgotten the guy's name, but he was a German that was coach of the youth team that actually brought up the likes of Omambi, Kanabi, Libby
Oh,
Thomas. So there was a German at the youth team. Then Claude Leroy scouted those guys from the youth team and then brought them to the national team at very tender age. I was still like in high school, 17, 18, and all that, you know. Then we had Henri Michel,
Henri Michel.
the
Yep.
late Henri Michel in 1994. And what was the Cameroonian? There was a Cameroon because when I had this discussion, someone pointed to me that, oh, I've forgotten the Cameroonian coach that actually called Rigobert Song for the first time in the national team. Kesak, oh, what? No,
Isaac
his name is not Kesak.
Mabuang,
No, it's not Mabuang. I'm talking about the coach.
coach.
If someone knows the name, they'll put it up there. Well,
I can't
but
think of.
he was the first, right, to call up these guys. But then Henri Michel was the one who used them in transition in the World Cup, Cameroon, Sweden. I can name you guys. The late Mark Vivian Kufui. How old was he? He was not in his 20s yet. I think Libby Thomas there, but I know Rigobert Song was there.
Mhm.
Raymond Kala was there. Mbe David was there. Those guys were young guys from Cameroon, from our league. That's what you call a team in transition. You don't just bring up players as Song did. It was not Sadi. It was not Rene Sadi. Uh, uh, you don't just bring players and sit them on the bench and you expect that's a transition. No, what Rigobert Song is doing is not a transition. That guy took players, took them to the World Cup, and started them. Nobody knew those players, and they were young. How long did Song last in the national team? About over 14 years, right?
Right.
Ramon Kala and all those guys. We saw them grow
They
up
were
in the
there.
national team. You see what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
that's a coach that takes young players and put them in a transition. So you watching that already, you already say, "Oh yeah, this team is in a transition," you know. But Eto, what he has done, he's putting a guy who has no idea about coaching, a guy who failed at the under 23 level. He rewarded him, so it's not by merit. So I'm not sure how long this is take. But one thing about transition is that it's not defined by one coach, so another coach can come
Can
and
come in
fix
and
things and
yeah.
move to it. Because keep in mind, this team, Cape Verde, and some of these teams you see playing like this, they are in the same qualifying group as Cameroon for the World Cup qualifying.
That's
So
right.
just imagine what will happen.
What's gonna happen in a few days, in a few
Yep.
weeks? Because I think after the tournament, we the qualifiers I think start in when is it, June or April?
Yeah. I mean,
There's
very
an
similar.
international break coming up that they will have to play. All right. So having said all that, True Lion, having said all that, I think it's time for us to wrap up. Let's see where do you see us finishing? Do you think Cameroon has the goods to finish second or third in this group and make it to the next round? Because that's where we started off this conversation.
I think Cameroon will finish second.
Second, okay. So you
Yeah.
tip Cameroon to beat Gambia handily, and then Senegal to do the job against Guinea.
Yes.
All right.
And
Who do you?
just to let those know, the name I was looking for was Lionel Seke.
Oh, Seke, Lionel
Yeah.
Seke.
Yeah. He was a coach for Cameroon.
Nice,
Local.
nice.
Yep.
All right. There was a suggestion of June Younger and others. All right.
Lionel
Well,
Seke.
yeah. Great, great, great. Well, parting words, True Lion, as we always do. Um, quick thoughts.
Yes,
Uh,
basically, I
what should
think
we watch
Cameroon.
out for tomorrow? I mean, the game time is 12 o'clock. So
Yeah, I think Cameroon has what it takes to actually go to the next round. All they
mhm,
need to do is come out and they've listened to their critics. Now it's time to go ahead and get them anything done and win or lose. My opinion about Rigobert Song is not changing.
oh yeah.
Yeah,
I know. I already know that. Emilion Sway shine. He shone for his team. He's a leader. He did the job for Equatorial Guinea. Currently, the highest goal scorer of the tournament. Who does the job for Cameroon tomorrow? Well, we'll be right back tomorrow after the games, same time, 6 o'clock, 6:30, with you all to examine the game and figure out what the next steps are. If Cameroon is packing their bags and going home, or if we have to wait a few more days to figure out if Cameroon is staying in, because we could just show up tomorrow and Gambia does the job against Cameroon. But that's not my hope. I really want Cameroon to go far in this tournament. We'll see how that turns out. So, thank you all so much for joining. Thank you all so very much for joining. Please, if you're not yet a subscriber to the channel, go ahead and subscribe. Like our videos, go ahead and watch them. Engage us in conversation, Facebook, Twitter, as now called X, or YouTube, and keep us honest. Let's have these conversations. They're very important for us. Our friend Ajab had to jump off the feed, but we really appreciate your time, Ajab. Tru3lion, I appreciate your time as always. Any parting words for the audience?
Yeah, I think Fombe just said it says Cameroonian players don't play for the
Yeah, let me
country, as we say, action personnel is their drive. It's just that when you bring 15 players that have never been to a tournament before and you try to integrate them without knowing or without having patterns that they can actually follow, then it appears as if the players are not giving their all. But I won't say the players are not giving their all. The players are running, they're trying, but they're not just good enough.
Okay. All right. So thank you all so much for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. Here we go. Have a good one. Catch you.